You're listening to the voice of Maui, community-supported radio, 88.5 FM, KAKU.
Aloha, I'm Amora St. John, host of Gutsy Women Radio. My show is made possible by Isa Inca Dance Studio, offering classes.
Maui's free speech station, KAKU 88.5 FM, Kahului, Maui, the voice of Maui.
Good morning. It's 11 o'clock on Monday. This is Jason Schwartz, and this is the Neutral Zone.
Please allow me to introduce myself. I'm a man of wealth and taste. I've been around for a long, long year. So many men sold away. And I was around when Jesus Christ had his moment of doubt and faith. Made damn sure that Pilate washed his hands and sealed his fate. Pleased to meet you, hope you guess my name. But what's puzzling you is the nature of my game.
The Neutral Zone, with me, Jason Schwartz, would like to thank No Ka'oi Motors. The following views do not reflect the views. The Neutral Zone, with me, Jason Schwartz, would like to thank No Ka'oi Motors, Maui Car Rentals. For
These
their
buttons
support.
have their own
Located
brain.
At 181 Deer.
Thank you, No Ka'oi Motors. Someone calling me at the same time. My goodness. No Ka'oi Motors is our happy sponsor. We're very happy to have them as our sponsor. I'm going to replay their commercial right now.
The Neutral Zone, with me, Jason Schwartz.
Well, I guess I'm going to play them later because this phone has its own
The
brain.
Neutral Zone,
Here it is.
with me, Jason Schwartz, would like to thank No Ka'oi Motors, Maui Car Rentals for their support. Located at 181 Dairy Road across from the fire station in Kahului, they've served the Maui community for more than 30 years with services in used cars and automobile rentals. Find them online at mauicarrentals.net or at 877-3300. The Neutral Zone is heard Mondays live at 11 a.m. and again on Saturdays at 7 a.m. on KAKU 88.5 FM.
Well, that was a bunch of chop suey. This is Jason Schwartz at the Neutral Zone. It is Monday, December 17th. It's amazing. People want to call me while my show is on my private line and don't seem to real call. We're live. That's very funny. I always can know when I'm ready to go on the air because that seems to be when people want to contact me. One of them is a guy I'm going to be driving with him, helping him relocate. This is a man who's 70, almost 76 years old, who's homeless on Maui. I sadly know too many people that are homeless here on Maui. Many of them are working, and many other ones that are retired can't find place to live. There is a very long list for a very short availability for housing for seniors, and the rules are kind of restricting, and the situation is desperate. I would say desperate. Dire, a little of each. Anyway, we have a guest here that hasn't yet come to our studio. That is, let me put a light on here. Tasha Kama, who's going to be on council here January 2nd, one of the new candidates that, in fact, won a position on the council, is our guest today. I really don't know why she isn't here, but hopefully she'll be walking in through that door very soon and sitting down here. I was just informed that our studio here will be closed on the 24th and the 31st. So this may be our Christmas Eve, New Year's Eve show. And I may review some of what's gone in 2018 and look at 2019, but you see that kind of stuff everywhere. My guest here, Tasha, I brought her on before she was on council to kind of give her an opportunity to, you know how the babe when Babe Ruth was a baseball player, and he pointed out in the outfield and over the thing, he wanted to show where he was going to be hitting that ball. Well, I want to see some of these people have made it into these seats, and the question is, so now you're in that seat. That means if something comes before you, we hope that your views match our views, and you will vote accordingly. But I always know that in this new era that's coming on, where they say the philosophies of many people are going to be satisfied by the people that are now sitting in council, and votes can go a different way, meaning, for example, toward a different development. We know we need development of housing, but we'd like it to be not so tourism and non-owner occupied kind of stuff. So what are we going to do to pass laws to encourage the building of the right kind of things that we need? We'll still employ our people and more, and more, and we'll solve a problem, a local problem. We are so far behind on needed housing. Our housing prices, by the way, if you're from Maui, no one has to tell you this. Our housing prices are ridiculous. Our rental rates are ridiculous. We have many potential rentals that are short-term rentals because the money you can get for short-term rentals is greater, much greater, than you can get for long-term rentals. But these long-term rentals are getting to be absurd prices. It's the old supply and demand issue. So that's why I wanted to talk. Sounds like there are rats in the walls, but I think they're working on the electrical here. Anyway, so housing, big issue, and I wanted to talk to Tasha and all of you about housing. And I want to be able to, I guess the word is hit home. I want you to take it to heart. And you hear the word development, that is not always a net gain. You know, oftentimes people think that development will create better in many situations, in many aspects on our island. But over the years, we've discovered we have too many people. We have too much going on in areas that need to be tampered, like a pipe when you do it with the tobacco. We need to put things in perspective and do things differently. And hopefully that's what this new council and our new mayor will do. I'm not going to be going over in any way critiquing all the things that we've seen recently. Our new mayor, Mike Victorino, him and a group of people have chosen his directors of different departments, and as the law now is and the way things are, the council will have opportunity to review those choices. So we're going to hear a lot more about that, and I'm just yap. I may have ideas, but I want to see what comes out of this. I had real interesting opportunity. If you listened in, you heard, by the way, we're 88.5 FM, the voice of Maui. I had Stuart Stant and Mike Miyamoto. They were the director and assistant or deputy director of the county's Department of Environmental Management. And Mike Victorino, in fact, now has picked Mike Miyamoto to head up that department. So we're going to revisit with Mike here in the future. But in this show, I like to discuss values and things and try not to be political. I mean, I know that when there were elections ongoing, we weren't allowed to speak to candidates unless we gave equal time. Well, now we can put that aside, and anyone can be on this show. And so I hope to have people that are in offices. So, again, we have a call-in number here, 873-3435, and 808 area code, where you can call in and be speaking to our guests. If anyone has Tasha Kama's phone number, I don't want to give it out here, give her a call. Also, God, I had 3 calls, but none from her. Let's see. Boy, I've been busy here this morning. Okay, it looks like I'm not going. I was supposed to be taking this gentleman on a ride to a new location. Can you imagine being homeless and 76 years old? This gentleman, in fact, he was a guest on our show. He has helped so many homeless and down-to-out people over these last 20 years that I know him. And yet he doesn't fit in the guidelines, and or he's not on the top of any lists for housing. I have actually, he's a gentleman, a man, but I've also spoken to women that are in their 70s that are afraid to go to help or stay at the help because of the issues that have happened at some of these homeless shelters and also in the periphery of all the support groups. There have been issues, physical issues. Police have been involved. You've seen some of the stuff in the news. Some are at these, I want to call them campuses, at these locations, and some are in other places in our community. But it's a chicken and the egg issue, isn't it? Which is first? Is mental illness and health difficulties first? Or is being homeless and having to deal with things with a limited budget and difficult circumstances to deal with and nowhere to live, all kinds of different possibilities. Which comes first? It almost doesn't matter. By the way, we have a seat here, and Tasha Kama has not yet shown up. Hopefully we'll see her here in a few minutes. If not, we're going to be continuing on. I have a few issues that I want to talk to. We were going to be in the studio next week, and if we can arrange it, we will, with Gary Levitt. Gary is the director. He's not only musical director of MAPA's big shows that are going on every year for, I guess, 5 years, but he is also the director of Maui Choral Arts. And my lady friend Ariel has been joining this group. I guess they were 80-something people this time that are singing at the MACC. They just had a show here in November. I think they opened up the Christmas season. We were going to have him on and talk about the music program, not only that he has another thing coming up here in the spring. It's one of those you don't want to miss kind of concerts at the MACC. Not only were we going to talk about music, but I have some. In fact, I may play it today just to be sure you get a little Christmas music. But I thought that would be a nice way to have Christmas Eve with Gary showcasing this wonderful Maui Choral Arts group and talking about the development, the Wailuku theater groups, the Wailuku and entertainment groups have come together to promote together and promote and support each other, which is a really beautiful thing. And, that is part of an even larger circle that goes with the Maui Arts and Music Association, promoting all art and music and culture on these islands. But in different individual groups, people really have found that this has been very good to help cross-pollinate activities with the EL Theater and the Maui On Stage group and the Maui Academy of Performing Arts and Maui Choral Arts. Really terrific. And we have such an incredible artistic community here in Maui County. It's nice to see that we're getting visible, and I want to be able to bring them here on the air. Well, because I'm on the air, I'm not calling Tasha. I would call Tasha and say, hey, where are you? The last time she was scheduled, she didn't make it, and this time she's not making it, so I imagine the next time that I schedule her, I will double book her with someone else. But, I think that may be an interesting... I've watched some of our hosts bring a couple of people on at a time because they don't think they can make it an hour. We find I can make it an hour just by myself talking to myself. But I'm not talking to myself, I'm talking to you. The year is 2019 coming. I hardly say that, and I can't even imagine. I remember the year 2000. I'm sure some of you do, the Y2K issue, when there was the thought that the computers would get to the year 2000 and all the systems would go haywire. I have a friend who told me that he actually went on contract to different nuclear facilities to help write code so that these problems wouldn't create catastrophe. So that was, it seemed like only yesterday. This guy, his name is Ed Perkowski. I think I've seen him surface running for senator here a handful of times every 6 years. He was a big supporter of Mayor Alan Arakawa. And when I was living in Wailuku and operating out of 1980 Main Street, one of my neighbors was the re-election campaign for Alan Arakawa. And that race he actually lost. But in that time I got to meet interesting people, and one of them was Perkowski, and that was interesting. And the time keeps marching on, and that's how I also, interestingly enough, had opportunity. I gave the space that I was in over to another political party who needed another space for their campaign. So, been an interesting time. Today is the 17th. It's kind of I want to say, a zone of time that people say that the tourism hasn't really kicked in, that some of the people on the streets are saying it's still quiet in tourist land. Someone can call in and tell me. But imminently, we're going to have a whole burst of visitors for the Christmas season that will last into early January, then it'll go quiet again, and then it'll come picking up again. It's like a roller coaster. But because of what? Because of our visitors just keep coming in great numbers, and our lack of housing issues, our places stay pretty full. And the visitor industry reports great numbers and very low vacancy. But I really want to stress, I hope that we completely draw a line in the sand and talk about no more visitor building development projects. They have enough going on right now that are already in the works, that things that amaze me. And like in North Kihei, it's been a long time coming, but the Hilton purchased the property that used to be the Maui Lou, and it's intended to be a timeshare place with, I believe it's 288 units. And they were talking about wanting to have a light installed on Kihei Road, probably at Ka'onaulu, which is down near the water there. Well, first of all, that's surely a flood zone issue already in general. And we'll see what they do. They're planning on restoring the beach as part of what they're doing. 288 new visitors. So, when you talk about, in fact, in today's paper I heard and saw, they ask the mayor, well, what kind of housing, low-income housing projects do you have going on? And he references, I really want to say, when you talk about 250 units, or 165 senior units in Kahului, we could fill that in a month. Just with people that are on a list that are thousands long, waiting for housing. So that's not a housing solution. And so I'm sure that the person asked that question, when they come to understand, oh, well, they're building that housing that'll be ready in 2020. And, well, this is almost 19. That means at least another year and a half. They haven't broken ground yet on this. It could be even later that these things come online. So what are we going to do now? When do we call it an emergency? What is an emergency? I think it's an emergency when we have such visible signs of no one's housed. I say no one. I watch as on Kamehameha Avenue near Punene, somehow the homeless were at the lot that is now going to be 165 unit senior development from Foodland there, across from Foodland in Kailui. They move next to the library and on the street near the Salvation Army and the block there again along Kamehameha Avenue. And then obviously there were complaints about that, and they suddenly moved from there and now across the street. I've seen this homeless encampment not only grow, but I keep seeing it moving. It's like we're trying to move it, but we don't give it any kind of real-time solution. If we can house people coming from other countries and create tent cities and create all the things because we have to, don't you think we have to? I do. I think we have to do something and then integrate it with some solutions. There's a lot of those people that could be very productive in being able to do things, even if it's initially just manual kind of tasks to beautify the island or to help in being productive toward set up food. There's all kinds of things that I've heard people propose that we'll bring up again. By the way, I'm guessing it's 21. It seems to me that our guest is, I don't know, I guess missing in action. Is that MIA? Yeah. Anyway, I have hesitated to set up backup guests. I was talking to Shaggy Jenkins, who was our, I want to say he's the man with, he has all the answers. He is the answer man. He's, we were talking about, see, I even forget what I'm talking about. I am wanting to get so that I can interview guests at a distance, and so when a guest doesn't show up into the studio, I have people that I can call and have them here on the radio with us from a distance. I have some interesting guests coming up in that area that can't make it down here on Monday at 11 a.m., but sure have a lot to say in the area of water, in the area of health, in the area of housing, all kinds of stuff. It's real interesting that this morning I got phone calls from people that have developed some very interesting systems that you're going to see about here that can make the quality of our life better. Imagine you could take water and with the process of electrolysis, have that water now become hydrogen and oxygen in a configuration called HHO that could be inhaled, and they found that it helps over 170 medical diseases. This isn't new technology to the world. There's many thousands of studies, and they've been using it in different countries, Japan, China, major research and major use of. But now they have this system that this gentleman here in Maui has developed and created. It's actually up on eBay. It's called the Ultra One. And it creates therapeutic dose of HHO, hydrogen and oxygen mix, in a way that can deliver, it's very healing. Put someone that has arthritis or has sleep apnea or has cancer or Parkinson's disease, I'm on and on. It was truly it is a wonderful exploration into seeing the power of water that's reconfigured and is put back into water, delivered to plants. It takes care of the bacteria. They don't like to be in there, and so the plants grow better. And so also we don't need pesticides because we're able to eliminate the cause, get the pests gone because they don't like that environment. Imagine all that. Well, the world imagines that. India has called plasma going to be their solution for feeding their whole hungry country. So these are technologies that we're going to be seeing here online. But you imagine this in a portable machine that you can have in your home for you, your animals, your plants. Fantastic. Anyway, that's just online, and that's a potentially exportable product. It is right now, but in a bigger way from these islands, and also another way to keep us and get us even more self-sustainable. Powerful thing. I don't know if anyone has picked up the phone to call my guest. I'm not going to call her while I'm on the air, but it's clear to me that we're going to have a break here in a couple of minutes, and when we do, I'm going to call her and see what's up. So she may visit us in the second half, or she may not, and we'll see what we talk about. You know what I think I'm going to do? I'm going to be talking to you for another minute and a half. We'll go to our break, and then I'm going to play. It's Christmas season, and if we don't have Gary Levitt next week, we might not have played it. I'm going to play a couple of selections from the... Someone's with a screw gun, I heard it. We're going to hear a couple of selections that were... Maui Choral Arts had a show at the Maui Arts and Cultural Center. And they gave to the people in their group a copy of the show. By the way, it was nice. I liked it. It had multiple camera shoot. And if any of you know Gary Levitt, you know he's very funny. And not only is he talented as a musical director and sings and all that, but he's very funny. Very, very, very funny. Makes it all fun. So let's go to some commercials, and then we'll come back, or sponsorship level. Let me just get there. The Neutral Zone, with me, Jason Schwartz, would like to thank No Ka'oi Motors, Maui Car Rentals, for their support. Located at 181 Dairy Road across from the fire station in Louise, they've served the Maui community for more than 30 years with services in used cars and automobile rentals. Find them online at MauiCarRentals.net or at 877-3300. The Neutral Zone is heard Mondays live at 11 a.m. and again on Saturdays at 7 a.m. on KAKU 88.5 FM.
Hawaii Youth Service Directory is online at 808youth.com. We envision a Hawaii where all youth are connected to the support they need to walk a pono path towards health, happiness, and abundance. 808youth.com is a free, easy-to-use online directory funded by the Office of Youth Services. If you're looking for a family-friendly event, check out our events calendar and connect with us on social media. Find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
Aloha, this is Bill Best inviting you to join me for my show on KAKU 88.5 FM. It's Off the Record, and I have a chance to speak with some of the most interesting people on and off the island. So be sure to listen in every Tuesday and Thursday from 11 until noon here on KAKU, the voice of Maui, 88.5 FM.
You're listening to the voice of Maui, community-supported radio.
Hi, I'm Sarah.
And I'm Allie.
And we're the Motherhood, where we tackle everything from pregnancy to graduation with a little dose of humor.
Don't forget to tune into our show on Thursdays at 2 o'clock.
And if you miss it, that's okay. You can tune in for our replay at Saturday at 1 p.m.
On KAKU 88.5 FM.
Hi, I'm Jason Schwartz, host of The Neutral Zone. KAKU is a listener-supported station. This means that all of the great programs you hear, like mine, are sponsored by you as well as our underwriters. If you would like to help keep the voice of Maui talking loud and clear, go to kakufm.org/donate today and give. And don't miss The Neutral Zone Mondays at 11 a.m. on 88.5 FM, the voice of Maui. Hi, I'm back. This is Jason Schwartz, The Neutral Zone. My guest, Tasha Kama, is a no-show. So I imagine when she's on council, she'll be there. But I am surprised that we don't have her here today. I'm going to give you a gift. I'm going to start by playing a song from Louise Lambert, which I think she sang it yesterday. I saw her sing it at Unity Church. And this song, she won a contest and a festival in Canada. It's called Peace in Our Hearts, and I really like this song. I've heard her perform it before, and in fact, I've even sung it before. And then I was going to play for you a couple little pieces of the Maui Choral Arts Show. In fact, I think I'll do that first. Here comes one. Let's see what this one sounds like. You're going to like it.
That arrangement was actually first made famous as a wonderful duet between, anybody know? Bing Crosby and David Bowie. That's right. Excellent. Yay, good, you got that. All right, the next one is going to be an old favorite with a little bit of a twist. Here comes Santa Claus. There's a lane. Go down.
was fun. That was the Maui Choral Arts Group here in late November at the Maui Arts and Cultural Center. Merry Christmas to everyone. So we may not be on next week. We may run a repeat, or if we're able to, we'll bring a guest and do a show at a different hour here in the studio and run it for you. I was going to call Tasha, and say, hey, where are you? But I thought maybe you'll call her and tell her, hey, where were you? Because this is not the kind of thing we wanted to see. When I was going to bring her on, I was going to talk about things that I'm going to leave until we have someone here with me to talk about. Otherwise, you're just hearing more of my ideas. Isn't a bad idea, but that's not what this is intended to be. Well, let me just give you a list of people that we are considering to have on our show in this next year. You've heard me talk about the fact that I don't care if you won the election or you lost the election. If you have ideas, we want to see them and see them brought up and discussed and action taken. And sometimes a philosophy doesn't create a law. It creates something in the private sector, social action. So listen to the people we're hoping to have on here. Some of them you probably know. How about Leah Mata, who is I guess he's the editor of the Maui News. Or Dick Mayer, who likes to talk about all kinds of things that are going on in the political system here. Kelly King, she'll be a guest of our show on January 7th, right after the council gets started again here. I hope to have Ricky Hokama, and I hope to have Alice Lee. And there are all kinds of people that people have told me about that they would like to see on the show. If you would like to see anyone specifically on the show, you can let me know, and I'm sure they would be a welcome guest. There was one lady that called me, and I wish she would call back. She had some issue with the Lahaina Historical Society or something. They're under the banyan tree and access for sales. Boy, I think the rats are out in force. They're doing something in the walls and building here. We can hear it through the walls of the studio. That reminds me when I was down at, there was a studio that was being built. They said it was built here for motion picture production. And I went in to test it, and I did an interview, actually, of Deborah Green, who we had here on the radio. But when we did this, and I could hear the chickens and the rooster crowing from, I guess, not roosters crow? Whatever he was doing, I could hear him through the walls. I knew it wasn't soundproof correctly. That's what I remember. Well, that's what I'm hearing here, a lot of noise through the wall. But that's what directional mics and radio are all about. I want to have some of the directors of these departments on, and I'd like to also have people that are, quote, or feel they are expert in the private sector that have ideas that we might implement in the private sector that may or may not need help or additional support from the people in our government to help make some of these things happen. I'd like to see, now that Stuart Stant is not the director of the environmental management, I'd like to see what he's doing. He's a real smart guy. I'm going to have to look more closely. He may end up being the deputy director, but maybe not. We'll see. I'd like to have revisit from some of the people that are involved in the election, like Tony Takatani, who has been involved, and he's involved in the process with Mike Victorino in choosing the directors of the county, and Terrell Venzel, who used to be the Maui Hotel Association. They'd be interesting guests. I know that they have opinions, and I would like to see how they match up with some of the things that I said earlier, for example, about managing tourism. It'd be interesting to see, to me, what the tourism industry feels and what they think is the best route. I'm sure that if they're living here, they know that we need to put more attention on private sector things. Maybe they don't want to be inhibited or restricted or from the potential growth that they see. I think that'll be a worthwhile conversation. I'm just looking here in my book. It's interesting. I'm just have a little. Here's a little piece. Inflammation, oxidative stress is the underlying cause to virtually every disease. Isn't that interesting? Oxidative stress. That means oxygen, and what happens when, if you will, we rust. Our systems seem to deteriorate over time based on the air that we breathe. And, of course, there are obviously other factors. But I'm excited about this hydrogen machine I was talking about, the HHO machine. I'm also excited because I recognize that Maui has reached its saturation. We have enough people here right now that if we just took care of what we need to do to address the people that are here right now, we would stay busy. I can't imagine much more growth, although I keep seeing it and hearing it on the plans for more growth. We need growth, but if that growth isn't going to match up with affordable for the people that are here and the jobs aren't, and when you think that $15 an hour full-time means $30,000 a year, there were times many people here would say $30,000 a year is a really good income, because the incomes for many people here don't approach that. And the housing issue has been a problem. That's why we see so many people living together in unusual configurations in houses and apartments and all over, because there's not enough housing and there's not enough affordable housing that matches up with the incomes people make. Now, this may not be you. This surely may not be you. You may think that I'm completely wacky, that this problem isn't as big as I state. I beg to differ with you, and I'd love to see people come on that not only don't agree with me, but that also can provide some answers to some of the things that we need. Because there's no question we have a need in this community. We haven't really addressed openly what we're going to do, for example, with the fact that the sea level is rising. It's rising at such a rate that we need to make major systemic changes, and that has to be put into plan and taken action now. We really shouldn't be waiting on things like that. I'm looking at 2018. Now we're coming on 2019. Isn't that amazing? 2019. If you're 19 years old, you don't kind of feel it like I do. But I'm more than 19, times 2 or even times 3. That's amazing to say. I was talking to someone earlier and taking on a new attitude for many years, 25 years. I've been talking about different ideas about development of jobs in different areas, and I now see that some of those things, people are starting to do that. I can see where the college and Akaku TV are suddenly coming on the radar, and potential of working together, things I've been talking about for so many years. They sound like I'm a broken record. Well, it's nice to see some of these things are happening. Again, I wish that I wasn't ahead of my time. I wish I was at the right time to be involved in some of that. But I should take it as a win. These ideas that we've had, and we have more ideas, obviously, they need to be taken seriously. I'm really uncomfortable. Sorry, Tasha. You just happen to be, when you don't show up and you don't show up again, I don't like that. And, I was running for that seat, and I have a lot of, in my mind, I put a lot of responsibility, a lot of trust and hope that Tasha Kama will be coming through, because she's a really talented lady who has a lot of experience in our community and working with different groups. So I know she has a lot to offer. But I definitely would have liked to see her here, and I know you would have. We've promoted her a couple of different times to be here, and she hasn't shown up. So not sure what to say. I guess I've said it enough times. I'm looking at my notes here. I have a lot of notes about antioxidants and reductive stress and oxidative stress. I've been real turned on by this hydrogen machine, this HHO machine. I have seen results that people have had even in the stages when this machine was being developed. I saw it encapsulation on someone's leg that was all swollen, and I saw a tremendous change even after one treatment. And I've seen people drinking this water and feeling emotionally better. I've seen people using this and feeling better. Hear stories about blood tests where someone who has cancer, the doctors that are reading the blood tests are seeing things they've never seen before. Why are these results so good in the middle of this situation here with the cancer? So we're right on the horizon. I'm really excited about that. I know it's going to help a lot of people. We have 10 minutes in the show left, and I'm going to be playing Handel's Messiah. That'll be the last 5 minutes. I would, rather than me just rambling, I'm going to play you a couple of pieces of music. Like I promised you, I'm going to play first Louise Lambert. Here we go.
Every day worlds are born and worlds die away. Seems like now the world's so small, we see it all right here on our TV. Seems like the more we bridge the distance, the harder it becomes for us to see. Well, if all the world's a stage, we're actors in a play with an ancient script of fear and doubt and greed. To write another page, to find a better way. Reverence for life is what we need for peace in our world, for peace in our country, for peace on our street, peace in our house. It starts with peace in our all our future to keep the hooded horsemen from the door. We're talking peace, but building bigger weapons always closer than it ever was before. But in the land of the free and the home of the brave, why do so many people need a gun? If it were just you and me, the world could be saved. If deep inside we know what must be done for peace in our world, for peace in our country, for peace on our street, peace in our house. It all starts with peace in our
Louise Lambert. Quite a talent. Peace in our hearts. Yeah, going into our next year, that is surely the sentiment we need. I'm going to play Handel's Messiah. This is Maui Choral Arts at the Maui Arts and Cultural Center. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to everyone. We'll see what we're going to have in the shows in the next couple of weeks. But if this is the last time this year, let me thank you for being with us. We hope you'll be with us next year. Onward to greater things. Blessings. Well, that was the Maui Choral Arts Group doing Handel's Messiah. That was a really nice show. Well, we are wrapping up the show here. It has been a great 6 months. We got on in June, and here we are. We're ending the year 2018, and we're on the doorstep of hopefully a new day here in Maui County government, where hopefully things will I want to say, get on track towards serving more of the people who live here all the time. And I am looking for great things in this next year. Happy New Year, everyone. Thank you to KAKU and to Akaku Maui Community TV. Blessings to all of you, and may next year be the greatest year ever for you. It has been a pleasure to be here with you. I'm going to sign on out. Aloha.
The Maui Youth Now Show, focusing on youth culture today. This weekly half-hour show is produced by and created for youth.